Welcome back, streaming Mountain West Media Days. Jason Walker, and I'm here with head coach Jerrod Calhoun. We're seeing a lot of each other. I've talked to you, 4 or 5 times in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, man, it's been good. It means basketball's right around the corner.
Yeah, I'm running out of questions to ask you. I don't know, how do you like your coffee? That's the level of questions we're getting at.
Tuller put some cream in, put some sugar in, and I don't like sugar. I'm usually just coffee with 2 creams. So
it's like you just got it's there to wake you up.
Yeah,
that's
I like about 3 cups a day.
So you guys picked second. I know I've heard most coaches, they tend to be like, I don't do coach. I think Dan Hurley swore. He's like, I have one of my assistants do that or whatnot. Just what do you look at in terms of preseason polls? You picked to finish second, so there's a lot of confidence in your team.
Yeah, I guess San Diego State was a unanimous choice, so I don't know why we're playing, right? You might as well cancel the season because, if they're picked to win it, nobody else has a shot, according to whoever voted on this. No, I don't put a ton of stock into this thing. The longer you're in it, you see kind of some of the nonsense that goes in with these polls, but the biggest thing it means is, hey, basketball's 2 weeks away, and we better lock in and we better have the details ready to go, or we're not going to be a top 2 or 3 seed, come tournament time for the Mountain West tournament. But I got a lot of respect for a lot of these players and coaches, so anything can happen. This is a real conference.
You had a chance to meet up with Dayton?
KT and Mason talked to him. I didn't. Because I was talking to the Albuquerque guy that runs their thing, and he asked me a lot about Dayton, and I love Dayton. I saw he was picked as a preseason top 10 guy. Hopefully our staff and our team last year had a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
We did a lot of read drills with him. We worked with them a lot. I love him as a person, and he made a business decision. He doubled his salary. At the end of the day, man, this is a big business. Anybody that says it's not, Jason is not in it day to day, and a kid can literally double him. He might have tripled it, to be honest with you. God bless him, and hey, we'll wish him well, but not when he plays us in the Spectrum or we go in the pit. But I love the kid.
One thing I've asked a few of the coaches about, I don't know if I asked you about it, but NCAA tournament expansion, there's some, seems like all the people who are going to make money off of it love the idea. There's a lot of college basketball junkies that, kind of purists, keep it at 68 or heck, go back to 64. Have you given any thought to it at all? Yeah,
I think it's about the student athletes, the experience. I think that's first and foremost. As many memories as you can have as a collegiate athlete to play in the NCAA tournament. Let's be honest, think about how many wasted bowl games there are every year. We only have 68 teams that make our tournament. There's 300 teams left home. How many bowl games are there? I think almost 60-70% of the teams go to a bowl game.
It's like 84 out of 136.
Makes absolutely zero sense. It's all waste of money. Nobody's interested in watching it. The schools, in fact, lose money with the travel. None of the bowls at those levels are paying anything. The NCAA tournament's real money. So to me, it's like as many as we can get will help mid-major plus type schools like ourselves, because the reality of it is, Jason, this year will be the hardest year in the history of the Mountain West to make an NCAA tournament. Why? Everybody front-loaded millions of dollars. The SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, these schools have between $10 and $15 million for their roster. It's absolutely absurd. So the amount of talent that they went out and bought before revenue sharing went into play, it's comical, right? They all complain about the market. They're the ones that set the market, right? The Power Four set the market for college basketball and what the value of these players is. And, hey, it is what it is. Everybody got paid. Coaches get paid. Players get paid. I'm good with it. But the reality of it is we have about, not even a third of what these teams have. So last year being one of the lowest funded teams in America to get an at-large bid, that's a lot to be proud of, right? We spent less than $1 million. Teams like Ohio State and Indiana didn't get in the NCAA tournament. They spent millions, right? So it shows you the power of Utah State. It shows you the power of our team last year, and we got to have that. We got to have that connectivity every single night, 31 times.
I saw one metric where it's one of these preseason analytic metrics ranking. They basically ranked the conferences based on their team rankings. Everybody's saying that the gap between the power conferences and mid-majors is getting bigger. Do you feel like, obviously you may be thinking that's going to happen again, do you feel like revenue sharing will even that back out, or is there worry that some of these power conferences are just going to keep pulling all the great mid-major players and growing.
Well, I mean, now there's, I think the biggest thing we want as coaches, there's a lot of old school coaches that can't adapt, and I get all that stuff, but I'm not one of those guys. Give us the rules, right? Every company, you work for a company, you guys have rules and guidelines, right? You know exactly what your job entails. We just don't as college coaches. Now there's G League players that we can recruit. And, I saw Coach Izzo and some of these coaches commenting on it, and they're exactly right. What are we doing? What are the rules? I think all of us coaches thought kids were going to get 5 years, right? So we didn't sign a lot of guys in the fall thinking, hey, I might be able to re-sign my seniors. Well, now that's out the door. It's just crazy times. But I know 7 schools I heard in the Atlantic 10 spent over $3 million on their budget this year for men's basketball. We don't have that in the Mountain West. We have probably 3 that did it, maybe 4. We're not one of those teams. So I think moving into this new era, we've hired a guy in Cam Walker. The last piece to the puzzle is the president at Utah State, right? Sometimes if those two people are aligned and you got great coaches and you got great kids, you can really do something special. And I think that's what Cam's talked about, not just going into the Pac-12 and be a part of this, but let's make sure we're winning championships in all the sports. And how you do that is through revenue sharing, right? Our numbers got to continue to increase, and I feel really good that it will.
How do you feel like the move to a new conference feels like almost heretical to talk about the Pac-12 over here at Mountain West Media Days, but you feel like that's something that's going to help as far as raising the revenue sharing amount?
Once again, I think that, the board and the president will obviously work with Cam, and they'll set that, but they need to look at the rest of the market and figure out what are these schools spending on rosters. That was my biggest fight last year with our department, is we got to understand what's going on here in the landscape when you're dealing with agents on a daily basis and you're dealing with these different things. We got to continue to increase the money for our roster, and that's, to being able to retain Mason Falsla, be able to retain the other 4 players, showed me I don't need to go anywhere. To be quite honest with you, I was, sitting there looking at this thing, and it comes at you pretty fast, right? Yeah. The opportunity to sign a long-term deal, and I just think there's real investment right now in the Aggies. I think we're starting to really get it. I think our donor base really gets it. We've had some unbelievable guys step up, Blake Kirby, Jim Lobb, some people that bleed, Aggie, right? Yeah. They're diehard Aggies. And guys like Kevin White have really helped, Nick Eliason, Eric Lobb, our whole team, Dalton Forsythe, with the Blue A Collective. And then, my wife and I looked at it and said, okay, we're going to go out and ask these donors for all this money. We got to put our money where our mouth is. We got to show these people here in Cache Valley, number one, we want to be here. Or you get tired of hearing, you're just here for a year or two, you just get tired of hearing all that stuff, to be honest with you. So we wanted to put the money into the rev share and the retainment of our student athletes. And, it's been really neat to see, Jason, a group of people come together for a university they just love. So
what were the biggest things you saw, I guess now having a chance to go back and look at the exhibition, look at the film, kind of rewatch some of those things? What were things that you maybe picked up on since your initial reaction?
Yeah, I think there was a lot. Number one, offensively, we'll be really good. There's going to be some nights where we don't shoot it that well. I feel really good about Gary and Zach and KT and David. And just our wings, MJ and Mace, those guys will go rebound the ball. We did not against Seattle. I think it's that first game where you're just kind of out there playing. You forget some of the details. Even coaches, I thought we could have did a better job throughout the timeouts, get to the glass, set better screens. I was telling them value the ball. But I think we'll be fine offensively. I think defensively we got a chance. We have to fix our ball screen defense. That was one area of concern. We got to hit block out. Shot goes up. We got to hit people. But I like our team. It's hard to tell what you got until you play somebody else.
Yeah.
We're not playing 15 guys, Jason, on Saturday against San Francisco. We'll still play a lot. The best thing that happened to us last year, we got trounced by Oregon by about 30, and that brought us together. So we'll see what happens with San Francisco. I heard they scrimmaged Stanford, and it was a high-scoring affair. So I got a lot of respect for San Francisco and their coach. They're good. I think they've had 8 out of 9 winning seasons. It's on the road. It'll be another tune-up, and then it's here. So I like our team. I like where we're at. We're progressing well, but we got a lot to work on too.
When you look at the rest of the Mountain West, I know it's a team, and it seems like this is like this every year. Every team seems like they're bringing in between like 5 and 15 new players. I know you're not going to play most of these teams until December, but can you make anything of this conference? Oh, there's a preseason poll, there's a preseason All Mountain West, but can you make anything of this conference?
Well, I was just on with a couple different people, and they asked about what do you think about the conference? I think it's going to be awesome. I think every year it's going to be great. I think Boise State is elite. I think they were elite without the 2 transfers they added in Andrews and the big kid at Georgetown. On paper, they're absolutely loaded. I think Boise's loaded. I think the Aztecs are very, very real. I think they'll be a top 10 team in the country before it's all said and done. And I think, Grand Canyon, if you look at just what they did with Baylor on the road and their exhibition, I think Grand Canyon's got real players, an elite coach, an elite fan base. And then you look at Ali, you look at Eric, you look at Josh, the 3 coaches that have come into this league and now are head coaches inside this league. They're all really good. They're all unique. Eric runs a matchup zone. He's a great offense coach at New Mexico. You look at Ali, he's going to run Nico's system, I would assume. He's ready for the job. He was there. Colorado State's a great place. Josh Pastner's won at a high level. You got guys like Sundance Wicks that can really coach. He tells me they're going to play fast this year, which I love. They were like going to the dentist last year. He stretched every possession. There's just so many great coaches and good players that this league it's going to be good.
I'll let you call your shot now. How many bids are you Mountain West getting into the tournament?
I want to say 5. I would love to see 5, but I'm going to say the same as this year. I'm going to say 4. But I think most national people will say 1, as they all do.
They all start at 1, and then it goes up from there.
Yeah. You know better than me. You know more about this league than me.
All right, thank you so much, Coach Calhoun, for coming on.
Yep.